You need to ask it now?
I would like to.
Okay. Chair, we have questions. Representative Wu, for what purpose?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. How much time is left?
From what I see here, we have about 10 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. And the clock is paused, correct?
The clock is paused.
So this is the last of our public hearings.
Currently scheduled.
Currently scheduled, correct?
Yes. That is correct, of the ones currently scheduled.
Have any other hearings been scheduled?
Not yet, but they will be.
Okay. So in the first two hearings, I asked you at the beginning of each hearing whether you have reviewed a map or have someone talk to you about a map, or if you or your staff has looked at a map that somebody has provided them and you have said no to both of those questions.
Only one I've seen is that one that was posted online that we talked about previously, and I have not.
Correct.
Since then, no revision to my previous statement.
And so my question to you is, I would assume that that has not changed. You have not looked at a map that someone else has provided you other than that one.
That's correct.
That was just uploaded by the public.
Correct.
Okay. Your staff and anyone who works for you has also not looked at a map and not seen a proposed map of any kind.
There was one that was uploaded that may have been seen that was in the same portal. I can't remember if it was the same one as the first one or another, but nothing beyond what has been put into that public portal.
Okay.
And I haven't looked at any of the others since that first one.
And I also asked you whether you have contacted Governor Abbott to see what is at top of mind of his rationale for why he put a mid-cycle redistricting on the call for the special session. Do you remember?
I have not.
Okay. And has that changed?
Not since we last spoke.
Okay. So, and no one on your staff has spoken to the governor or somebody on the governor's staff or somebody who works for the governor or represents the governor
No.
about any map?
No.
Okay. We have now, there's only 10, as you said, there's only 10 minutes left of this hearing. In the last three hearings, I want to assume that 99% of this hearing is basically concluded. We've heard from several hundred witnesses at least. At the beginning of the last hearing, I asked you if you had in mind what you plan to do and what kind of map you plan to draw. And you said you did not have anything in mind as of yet. Now, almost all the hearing has been done. In your mind, do you have an idea of what you propose to do or what type of map or what kind of changes you intend to make?
No.
Okay. So at the beginning of this process, you told us that because you did not know and do not know what the governor wants, why he put this on the call, and you have not contacted him or asked him why. You said that the purpose that all we're doing here is to see how the public feels about the current maps. Is that fair? A fair statement? A summary?
That's perhaps a fair summary of the first phase of this.
Okay,
is
sure.
to generally hear from the public about whether to do redistricting, and if so, what are some of the things they'd like to see changed or not changed.
Absolutely. And in my attendance of these hearings and listening to the witnesses, let's just say in a very unofficial way that roughly 99% of the witnesses testified against a mid-cycle redistricting. Would that be fair?
I have not done the testimony that's been given. I haven't done an analysis. So I mean, a lot have been opposed. So I think that's
an
fair.
overwhelming majority.
Fair.
Fair. Okay.
From the testimony given, yes.
Now, additionally, I have asked you in the prior hearings whether you have reviewed any kind of population data, census data, or any revised data dealing with population changes or anything like that? And you also said you have not reviewed any kind of data like that. Has that changed?
That has not changed.
Okay. So you have also said that, you would let us know when a map comes out, when you have the idea of what you want to do. And right now you're telling us, as of this moment, you don't have anything in mind, correct?
Nothing specific, no.
Okay. So would it be, if a map does come out, and you're saying that there's nothing in your mind at this moment, is there anything during this process that makes you think of what you would like to do from hearing the people talk?
No, not at this time, other than I want to go and review the written comments that were submitted into the public portal as well. Because as you know, this is just one of many other forms that have been done. So I know that 2 of those have been summarized, I think, that are on the committee's website right now. And of course, the public portal for this hearing doesn't close until this hearing is over with.
So we've done this for 3 hearings now. We've been across about almost a week's worth of time. And after all this, you don't have any idea, you don't have anything in mind of what you're going to do. My question is sort of, is this plan going to spring forth from your head like Athena from Zeus, fully formed at some point?
My intention is to review the testimony. Pretty much, I've obviously been hearing the testimony.
Sure.
And we've got 10 more minutes here tonight.
Sure.
And I want to review that submitted comments. That'll probably be tomorrow that I do that.
Do you suspect that after you have reviewed the written testimony, after you've finished listening to the last 10 minutes of the in-person testimony, are you going to have a time where you're going to discuss with us, with the entire room, what your thoughts are and what their thoughts are before you draw the map?
I don't know right now. I don't know.
You don't know? Were you planning to work with the members of this committee?
My intention is, if a map is filed, that will come to this committee for public hearing and will come to this committee for debate and for feedback and input by all the committee members.
So what you're saying is somebody else is going to submit the map and you will be told which one that is?
I don't know what we're going to do yet. I don't know
Are
if I'm
you
going to file a map or not.
Are you intending... Is it your intent to submit a map yourself, or are you simply waiting for someone else to submit the map?
I don't definitively know right now whether I'm going to file one or someone else will.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Members, any other questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Turner, for what purpose?
just a follow-up question.
Chair, you'll
For the chair.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to follow up on Mr. Wu's conversation with you just now. So to be clear, you've said you haven't seen a map and you are not drawing a map presently.
I'm not drawing a map presently.
Okay. And have you said you haven't heard from anyone about a map. Have you heard any indication, say from the governor's office or the White House, that a map is coming?
I have not heard from the governor's office or the White House.
Okay. Has anyone else indicated that a map is coming?
There's been maps submitted, of course, that people have indicated they put online, and I haven't worked on one yet. That may change. I'm going to review the testimony today, and particularly the written comments that are done. I'll review those tomorrow, and that may change.
Okay. To clarify my question, have any members of the legislature suggested to you that they'll be filing a map?
No member of the legislature has told me that they are going to definitively file a map. I'm sure that individuals probably have ideas, but no one has told me I'm going to file a map.
Okay. So right now, you're not aware of any...
Basically, the stage I'm at right now is I want to gather all the testimony. Okay. I'm going to review the written comments tomorrow and see what we do next.
Okay. And I think that's
basically it.
That's a perfectly reasonable position.
Yep.
And I know your previous statements on the record, which I appreciate, that anything we do, if we do anything, and it's still an option not to do anything.
Sure.
Anything you do, you said you would want to make sure it complies with the Constitution and the Voting Rights Act.
Yes.
And I would just observe the complexity of just those two things, and then the complexity of drawing a statewide congressional map is very detailed, very time-consuming. So is it reasonable to conclude we won't be seeing a map really anytime soon, because it sounds like there's not any maps under development right now?
I don't know on the exact timing of that. But what I can commit to you is that if a map is filed, we're going to have a public hearing on it, and every member of this committee will have an opportunity to provide feedback and input into that process. That has been my commitment this entire time. I believe, as I mentioned at the first hearing, that we're going to take this in a two-phase process.
Okay. As we sit here right now tonight, you're not aware of any maps being filed as a bill for the committee's consideration?
Not right now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Turner. Ms. Dean Thompson, for what purpose?
I'd like to ask a question to the chair.
Chair yields for questions.
Will the committee be privy to reviewing, along with the chair, the written statements that the chair will be reviewing?
Sure. Those, Dean Thompson, good question. The statements that I have referred to, that I have seen, when you go onto the committee's website, and you go to our page and you click meetings, each of the committee hearings has a notice, which is in text and in PDF. On the right-hand side, you'll see what I believe is a column marked, let me give you the exact answer, Dean Thompson. I was looking just a while ago to see what the status of that was. So if I go to our committee page, and I go to Congressional Redistricting Select, and I click Meetings, on the right-hand side is a PDF marked Comments. And so those are some of the comments that I will be going through. We have comments posted for 724 and 726. We do not have any comments posted for 728. I don't know how many or if any are in there. We won't know that until that portal closes after this hearing, and I would assume those will be either linked there tonight or tomorrow morning.
How will you be evaluating the public testimony?
Just like I do all public testimony, read it, comprehend it, see what the general themes are, and whether or not there's anything specific to take into account.
Okay.
Thank you, Dean. Members, any other questions? Chair recognizes Representative Gerben Hawkins. I've assumed the question of the chair.
I do have a question of the chair.
I yield for such questions.
Mr. Chair, based on reading of the notes, based on the 3 hearings and the concern that the community has raised, is there a possibility that you would recommend to the governor not to proceed with any maps?
I will. You have my word that I will evaluate that tomorrow. I don't know. I'm not going to give you a definitive answer right now, but I will evaluate that tomorrow based on all the comments. I mean, that is obviously one of the scenarios.
So my final question is that, so the citizens who spend so much of their time and effort, is it possible, or is it impossible that indeed there could be a recommendation to this committee, this full committee, to take a vote on if maps should be drawn or not?
I think to that specific question, if no map is heard in this committee, then that effectively means that there will be no map on that basis, Representative Gerben Hawkins. So I don't think a formal vote is necessary of the committee on that point, but if no map comes forward, there is no map.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Gerben Hawkins. Vice Chair Rosenthal, for what purpose?
The chair yield for a couple of questions.
Chair, will you for a couple questions?
Thank you. Do you have a ballpark idea of the number of comments that have been submitted online?
I can give you the exact, I can give you the number for the 2, if you'd
Okay.
like that for the record. The number of comments that were submitted, or I would say received, that it shows in the system for the July 24th hearing was 1,071 comments. And, well, let me actually hang on. There's 2 under that in, I think, maybe Spanish language comments. So I guess you would add those together, 1,073. The number of comments submitted for the last hearing, and what I haven't done, Vice Chair Rosenthal, is to determine whether these numbers are cumulative or have to be added together, right? I'd have to ask, honestly, I'd have to ask the committee gurus how this data comes. I'm assuming, my assumption would be that these are additional comments. And if so, then there were 1,335 additional comments for the July 26th hearing in English and 3 in Spanish.
So, depending on whether they're cumulative or separate.
It could be, that
So
could mean
it's-
there's 2,300, or it could mean that there's only 1,300 if
Exactly
they add
right.
together.
Thank you for doing accurate math. in
I don't
public.
know if
I
that
think
was
that's
accurate
pretty
or
good.
not. That was top of mind, roughly thereabouts.
And then, over the course of these 3 hearings, we've had in the neighborhood of 2,000 people register. Is that about right?
We had, what was it? We had about 200 at the first hearing. We had about a little over 750. I didn't know quite where we exactly landed. That will be in the minutes, but we haven't approved those yet. We've done the ones from the first hearing.
Quite use them all. So
Correct.
would
I
it
don't
be-
know. Several hundred registered today.
So I'm not asking for an exact number, but would it be fair to say 600 or 700 in that neighborhood?
Let's
in that
say
ballpark?
at least 500 or 600.
All right.
Yeah.
So you're looking at 1,500 people that took time out of their lives
register,
to
yes.
come, speak in front of us, to register, and then because of the limited nature of the number of hours that we have had for these, we've offered this portal for folks to submit comments online, and
Yes.
there are either 1,000 or 2,000 more.
And an unknown possible additional set right
tonight.
for tonight's.
Very
that won't
good.
close until the hearing's done.
So to my recollection, over the course of all these hearings, we had like one person come up with a microphone and say, I strongly want this to happen. That's my recollection.
I think there were a handful. I don't know the exact number. A handful. It was more than one, but a handful. I would say that, to your point that I would expect you'd make, there were more against.
So when we say more against, it's like 1,000 to 1. So I'll be interested in what that happens. So,
Sure.
So here's what the whole line of questioning leads up to is, if the stated purpose of this set of hearings is to elicit input from the people of the state of Texas as to their opinion as to whether or not we should even engage in this process, because that's all we can talk about right now. We haven't looked at a map.
Well, engage in the process, or if, for example, we've had testimony about if you do it, then do this. For example, we had several testimony tonight. And you remember, I think your favorite witness in Houston was the gentleman who came up with the hexagon thing. Right, okay, so you had testimony about if you're going to do it this way.
Yeah, we had a
So
whole conversation of area versus perimeter, and while I can get into that, yeah,
Sure.
fair. So if you, after prepondering all of this evidence, find an overwhelming sentiment expressed to us by the people of Texas that they don't want us to do it, would that lead you to actually not do it?
They don't live here. We live it. They don't live in.
I intend to make that decision over the next couple days. But that is absolutely a factor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Speaker Moody, for what purpose?
Just a couple questions of the chair.
Chair, will you for questions?
I know that I think either yesterday or early today, you extended an invitation to the individual who wrote the letter for the Department of Justice that kind of set this process
That's correct.
in motion. I appreciate you doing that. And I assume we still haven't heard back from them during the pendency of this hearing.
Speaker Moody, I haven't checked my email box, but I'll get back to you tomorrow about that. But no, I have not received a formal response to that other than the out-of-office message.
Okay, and I appreciate that. I know we're working on a short timeline. I'd like to focus on the recipients of that letter, both the governor's office and the attorney general's office. I'd like to request that in any subsequent hearing that the chair also extend an invitation to the proper party within either of their offices, since the governor's office certainly took note of it, and that's why there's an item on the call. I think it would be important for this committee to hear what they took from it and why it's on the call and why it's here and what what their constitutional issues they think we have to address, and the Attorney General actually engaged in conversation, at least in written communication with the DOJ, and I think it would be important for this committee to hear that as well, and that'd be the request I'd make of the chair.
Understood, Mr. Speaker. I'll take that under advisement and view that tomorrow.
Thank you.
Members, any other questions? Chair says none. We'll go back to our witnesses for public testimony. I believe